how are you all? Welcome to this channel, I'm Mary. In today's class, we are going to do the detailed step-by-step of this beautiful model. We made it with centered single crochet and simple single crochet. It's a beautiful cell phone bag. This model never goes out of style because it's very practical and functional, quite spacious, affordable, and we can use it every day. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so and also turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss any of our upcoming classes. I hope you'll stay with me until the end of the class, enjoy the process, and put it into practice. If that's the case, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. Without further ado, let's go to the list of materials and then to the step-by-step instructions. We're going to work with the following materials. And all the hardware and accessories can be purchased at your online store, Tus and Sumos. We're going to use a vegan leather strap. This one is 1 meter long. If you don't have this type of material, you can replace it with a chain or a crocheted strap. A magnetic snap for sewing, 2 rings, a 2 centimeter diameter clasp, a medium clasp. This one is for the tassel. 4 stitch markers. A 6 millimeter crochet hook. This will be our main hook. A 3.5 crochet hook. This one is for weaving in ends. Scissors. Measuring tape. For the t-shirt yarn, I will be using 2 rolls of 250 grams each, for a total of 500 grams. I won't be using all of it. In the video description, I will leave you the exact amount of material that we will be using. This material is premium, featherweight. It has a very lightweight strand and measures 3 centimeters wide. Each spool has about 100 to 120 meters. And it is composed of 94% polyester and 6% elastic. You can work with it using a 5 to 7 millimeter hook. It's a t-shirt yarn with a spectacular finish. We are going to start by making the base of our bag. We begin with a slip knot. We are not going to count this one. Here we have a little loop on the hook. We yarn over and slip it through this. First stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 chains here, and they measure 8 centimeters long. We make an additional chain here, and this will be our turning chain. We are going to start working the first round, and we will do it with single crochet stitches, inserting the hook into the center of the second chain, taking only the top loop. We insert the hook into the second chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over again, and pull through both loops to finish the stitch. Here we have our first single crochet. We go under the next chain and make the second stitch. This way, we will be working 1 stitch under each chain until we reach the slip stitch. We're already here at the slip stitch. In this little stitch, we're going to work the increase to give our base an oval shape. We pass the hook under this strand. We pass the short strand over the top. And here we make the first stitch. We're going to work 3 stitches into that same stitch. In this first one, we're going to place a marker, so we know that's where the increases start. We insert the hook again into that same space where we made the previous one. We yarn over, and we make the second stitch. We pass through again, and here we yarn over, lift up, always at the level of the loop that's on the hook. We yarn over here and close the stitch. This is how our increase turned out. Look, there are 3 stitches in the same stitch. In this last one, we're going to place a marker, so we know that's where the increase ends. We're going to work the stitches on this side, passing the hook under these two strands. Look, here's one, and right below is the other. We're going to take these two, and here in this space, we'll make the stitch. Here, the stitches should be facing each other. Pass the hook through. We yarn over and make a stitch. Look at how the stitches should be, one facing the other. Here in this last one, we're going to work the increase just like we did on this side. 3 stitches in the same stitch. But here in this one, we already have a first stitch, which is this one here. Look here. This is the turning chain, and this is the first stitch. Here in this space, we're going to make 2 stitches to complete the 3. We pass the hook through. Under this stitch. Look, here you also need to pick up both loops. There's the one on top, and right underneath is the other one. Do it here. 1 and 2 stitches. We finish this round with a total of 20 single crochets. Check it. We count the first one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's close this round. We chain up from this loop. Look, here in the first stitch of the increase, I already placed the marker, and the other one should go on this side, which is where we are going to close. We take the hook, and we go under the first complete chain. Look at it here. From back to front, we place the reserved loop and take it to the back. Here we are going to tighten it very well. We set it aside and open it slightly. Here we are going to start the second round, and here where the 3 stitches of the increase are, we are going to work 2 stitches into each stitch. That means a double increase in each stitch. That would be 2, 2, and 2. That would be 6 additional stitches in each corner. Let's start by making the first stitch, and this will be a centered single crochet because we're going to start this round in the center of the stitch. We insert the hook where we brought the yarn to the back. Look here where the chain is, and underneath there's a stitch. We insert the hook in the center, always making sure it comes out from the back, between these 2 strands, underneath the back bump. That would be a centered single crochet. We insert the hook in the center of the stitch. What should we do with this reserved strand? We're going to tighten it very well, so it's nice and short.
Okay.
There. We tighten here so it doesn't come out. Yarn over. We bring this one forward. We place the reserved loop on the hook. Like this. We yarn over and pull through both. Here we have our first centered stitch, but since this stitch is part of the 3 for the increase, we're going to insert the hook again into that space to make the second stitch. We go through again, yarn over, and here we pull up a loop. We close the stitch. Now we have the first stitch of the increase here. We place the marker on this side. So we're going to work the stitches here. Here we'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches before reaching the stitch where the marker is. We insert the hook through the center of the stitch. Making sure it comes out at the back, look, right between these 2 strands. We pull it up to the level of the loop on the hook, yarn over, and close the stitch. We work in the center. We've reached the marker. Here, we're going to work 2 stitches into the same stitch. Here, in this stitch, in this stitch, and in this stitch. We remove the first marker, insert the hook into the center of the stitch. These first stitches are always going to be tighter, but be very careful. You can also use a smaller hook to help you find the center of the stitch here. Look here where these 2 strands are. We pass the needle through. We make the first stitch. We place the marker on this one. Inside that same stitch, we're going to make the second one. We've completed the first increase here. We're going to work here in the second stitch. We go through the center. We open the stitch very carefully. We make the first stitch, 1, and then the second. 2. We make the last increase where the marker is. Look here where the stitch is. We go through the center. 1. And inside that same stitch, the second one, we place the marker. And that's how we finish the increase on this side. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 stitches in each stitch. We are going to work the center stitches on this side until we reach the stitch before the marker. We have already finished the single crochets. Now we are going to work the stitch where the marker is. And here we will make the increases just like we did on this side. Remember that here we already have the first increase done. We still need these 2 stitches. We remove the marker. We insert the hook into the stitch center. Here we make the first one. We place the marker again, and we work the second stitch right here in that same stitch. We'll make the last one here. We go through the stitches center. We make the first one. We go through again. And here we make the second stitch. This is how our increased stitches turned out. Here we have 6 stitches. Let's make the join. We pull up this loop. We remove the marker, and we go under the first complete chain. From back to front. We place the loop we set aside, and we take it to the back. We tighten it well here. We position our base. And here we finish the second round with a total of 26 stitches. Make sure you have that amount. Now we're going to start the third and final round. We're going to pass the needle under the stitch where we brought the yarn to the back. We pass the needle through the stitches center. We tighten the short tail. Make sure it's really short. We hold here so it doesn't slip out. We yarn over. And we bring it forward. We give it height. We place the loop we set aside. We yarn over and complete the stitch. Here we have the first stitch of the third round. And here, where the increases are, we need to follow a sequence of 1 single crochet and 1 increased stitch. So here we have our first single crochet. And here in the next stitch, which is the increase, we need to make 2 stitches. We insert the hook in the center. We make the first stitch. We pass the hook through that stitch again. And we complete the increase here. Look here. We have a single crochet stitch, an increase stitch. We're going to work 7 single crochets until we reach the stitch before the marker. I completed the 7 stitches. We're going to work the increase on this side, following the sequence. Here we finish with an increase stitch. That means here we should start with a single stitch. We remove the marker. We make a single stitch. And in the next stitch, we're going to make an increase stitch. We make the increase stitch here. 1 and 2. 2 stitches in that same stitch. In the next stitch, single crochet. In the next one, an increase. 1 and 2. Next. Single crochet. And here in the last one, increase. 1 and 2. We complete the increase starting with a single stitch. Increase stitch, single stitch, increase stitch, single stitch, and finishing with an increase stitch. We are going to work 7 single crochets until we get to the stitch before the marker. I finished the 7 stitches. Let's continue the increase sequence. Here we are going to start with a single crochet. Notice that here we finished with an increase. We make 1 stitch. We continue with an increase in the next stitch. We continue with a single stitch. And here, we're going to make an increase in this last stitch. 1 and 2. We finish the increase on this side, starting here with a single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet. And here on this side at the beginning, remember that we made an increase. Let's give this loop some height and close the round. We complete the 3rd round with 32 stitches. We work 9 stitches in the increase sections and 7 stitches on the sides. If you notice that the base twists a little when you finish, it's quite normal for this to happen, because when we work the base, we're doing it with pretty tight stitches, because we need our base to be quite firm and structured. So it's normal for it to tend to twist a little. What we should do is, at the end of each round, we need to arrange the stitches so that they settle into place. Now, let's hide the remaining yarn, and we'll do it underneath the stitches. At the end, you're going to put a drop of silicone on the tip or make a simple stitch with needle and thread to prevent the yarn from coming loose. Cut and hide the excess. We already have our base ready. I'll give you the measurements. It's 15 centimeters long and 7 centimeters wide. If you want to make this base longer with the same width, you will make more chains at the beginning, starting with an even number. You continue working the increase rounds as I have explained to you, and if you want to make the base longer and wider, you make more chains at the beginning and work more rounds. That is, you continue working the rounds following the increase pattern. If you're wondering, Mary, can I work on this same project or this same pattern with another material? Of course, you can adapt it to another material. For example, you can use cord, you can use rat tail cord or satin cord, or any other material you have available that works for crocheting. You can also use macrame thread. That would work really well too. The only thing that might change a bit are the measurements. You can keep working until you reach the same size, or you can make the measurements to your liking. Let's continue with the body of our bag. Here we have the base facing right side up. We're going to turn it over and position ourselves at the last stitch where we made the join. Look, this little loop has 2 strands. You can see them here. We go under the chain and close it. What are we going to do? We're going to insert the hook in the center of these 2 strands. We open here, go through the center, from back to front. Look. We adjust the stitch here a little. Adjust. We turn our hook. Adjust. We place the reserved loop. Adjust a bit until the strand down here is the same size as the other chains. We yarn over again, and here we're going to make our first stitch. We're going to do this round with simple single crochets, inserting the hook in the center of the chain, picking up the top strand and the little bump on the back. In the center of the chain, and under the little bump. Why are we picking up the bump of the stitch? To give this first round more firmness. So, always going through the center and under the little bump. We pass the hook through the center of the chain and under the little bump. We make a single crochet in the center of the next one and under the little bump. This way, our single crochets will look like this. We are going to continue working 1 stitch in the center of each chain until we get here to the last stitch. Remember that we are working on a base of 32 stitches. So when we get here, we should have that number of stitches completed. Let's make the last stitch. And this is how we finish this first round of single crochet stitches. Notice that we didn't make any increases here. This is how it should look. And here, look at how you can see the division between the base and the body of the bag. Look how pretty it is. Let's finish this round. Let's pull up this loop. And we go under this first chain, from back to front. We place the loop we set aside, and we take it back. In this second round, as we work upward, we are going to start working the stitch pattern that we will continue with in this project. These are centered stitches, but they are 2 stitches in the same stitch, as if we were going to make an increase. Since they are centered stitches, we are going to insert the hook into the center of the stitch just like we did for the base. So here, where we took the yarn to the back, right below is the stitch. We go through the center, making sure it comes out at the back, right between the 2 strands. We place the loop we set aside and adjust it here. We yarn over and make the first stitch here. We're going to insert the hook into that same stitch and make another stitch there. We always keep the height at the level of the loop that's on the hook. We yarn over and close. And here we have 2 stitches in the same stitch. What are we going to do? We're going to skip the next stitch, which means we won't work into this one, but into the second one. We count 1 and 2 and insert the hook in the center. We lift up, make 1 stitch, insert the hook again into that stitch, and then make the next stitch there. We skip the next stitch and work into the second one. We count 1 and 2 in the center, make a single crochet, repeat again, and then make the next stitch there. We skip 1 stitch and work into the next one. We repeat again in that same stitch. We skip the next stitch and work into the second one. We repeat. And this is how our stitch pattern is looking, making 2 stitches into the same stitch. We skip the next one. We continue in the second one, 2 stitches into the same stitch. We work 1 stitch, skip 1, 1 stitch, skip 1. That's why it's important that when you finish the base, you have an even number, because here we're working in a sequence of 2 stitches. Work 1 stitch, skip 1, work 1 stitch, skip 1. And at the end, we need to close this sequence. We continue making this sequence of stitches all along the edge until we get here to the last stitch. We finish the round. And here, notice that the last stitch is a stitch where we don't make a centered stitch. So we finish on the second to last stitch. We don't work on the last one in order to complete the sequence. Remember that we start with 2 stitches. Skip a stitch, work a stitch, skip a stitch, work a stitch. We follow the sequence. Here we make 2 stitches. We finish with a stitch where we don't work. So, how are we going to close? We lift this loop and we go under the entire chain. Notice that the closing is the same in every round. Here it will change a little. How are you going to start? Here, by tightening a little bit. To start the next round, you are not going to insert the hook under the strand that you brought to the back. Not at this point. You are going to pass the needle, either in the previous stitch or in the next one. You have those 2 options. You can do it either way, except in the stitch where it has been closed. You can do it on this side or you can do it on this side. I'm going to show you both ways, and you can choose the one you feel most comfortable with. So, you leave the strand a little long and insert the hook into the first stitch. We insert the hook into this stitch. Always place the reserved loop in the center and tighten it a bit. Yarn over. And here we add height. We make the first stitch here. We insert the hook again into the center of that stitch and continue the sequence. So, in the stitch where the closure was made, you won't make any stitches there. You work in the next one. That is, opening the stitch on this side. Doing it in the next stitch from where the join is made. Here on this side, you go through the center, tighten a little here. Take the yarn, bring it forward, lift it up, and place the little loop you saved onto the hook. Here, take the yarn and make the first stitch here. Notice that we have always left this stitch free. We pass the hook through the center of that stitch. And we make the next one. Here, you start the sequence again. 2 stitches in the same stitch, and in the next one, you don't make any stitches. We skip this one, go through the center, 1 and 2. In the second one, we make 2 stitches here. We skip 1 and 2. We work down here in the second one. One and 2 in the second one. Here we make the last stitch, and this one is the second to last. The last one is not worked, and that way we know we've completed the sequence correctly. We will always work into the second stitch, which means the first one will never be worked. We do the same join. And we start the next round again. You should keep in mind that when you start the round, you need to do it correctly, because the sequence will depend on that. So if you finish your project and you tell me, Mari, I did it and it didn't turn out like yours, please check carefully this part about how you are starting the rounds. You are going to close as we normally do, and notice that you will start not in the stitch where the join is, but in the next stitch. This will also set the sequence. You go through the center of the stitch. Adjust this little loop so that it stays very small. Like this, you yarn over, pull up a loop, and make the stitch here, passing first under the reserved little loop. Yarn over and close. And there you have the first stitch. Inside that same stitch, you're going to make the next stitch. You're not going to work the next stitch. You work into the one after that. You make 2 stitches. See, the sequence is quite simple. What you need to keep in mind is the way you're going to start the round. We skip the next one. Count 1 and on the second one. This is how your stitches should look. Look how pretty the pattern looks, and honestly, it's very simple. You will continue working by following the sequence. When you get to this point, remember that you don't work this last stitch. We always stop at the second to last one. You make the join and start in the second stitch. You continue working the sequence, and you'll do this until you reach the desired height. I'm going to keep working, and I'll show you up to what height and with how many rounds we're going to finish. I've already worked the piece to the desired height. Here, I made 16 rounds. How are you going to identify them? You're going to count here from the first round of single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Look, the combination of stitches is very pretty. The stitches are well organized. So that all of them are the same size, you need to make the loop the same height as the one you already have on the hook. Never higher, so that they all have the same height and look like this. In height, 16.5 centimeters. In width, 16 centimeters. We are at the last stitch. Here we are going to finish it. We will do it with chains. We pull out this little loop. We cut the yarn. We take the loop off the hook, insert the needle from the back of the first chain, grab the yarn, and pull it to the back. We insert the needle again through the center of the last chain and the bump that's on the back. We grab the yarn, pull it to the back, and adjust the chain here so it's the same size as the others. And we're going to hide this leftover yarn under the stitches. Now we're going to work on the flap of our bag. We arrange our piece like this. Remember that here we have a surface of 32 stitches. We're going to divide it into 2 sets of 15 stitches. Here on this side, we're going to have 1 stitch in each corner. We're going to place a marker here. I've already placed a marker in each corner, and on this side we have 15 stitches. Counting after the marker. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. On this side, we'll also have 15 stitches. What are we going to do? We're going to choose the side where we'll make the flap. Usually, that's done on the side where the rounds have been closed, which means on this side. We're going to count after the marker. 1, 2, 3 stitches. Place a marker here. On this side, we do the same process. After the marker, we're going to count 1, 2, and 3. These are the spaces where we're going to crochet the flap of our bag, so it's very important to keep that in mind. And when making the flap, you should never start crocheting it from these corners. You should always leave at least 3 stitches of space before starting to crochet the flap. Why? Because if we crochet the flap this wide, we'll end up with a very large flap, and it will look too big on this side. So it's always important to leave 3 stitches after the stitches that are in the corner, regardless of the size. No, Mari, it's just that I got 36 stitches. I got 40 stitches. You divide and leave 3 stitches. You divide and leave 3 stitches so you can start making the flap. So there's no problem. If you get more stitches, if you get fewer, you always leave 3 stitches. After these markers, we are going to start the first row with single crochet. If you want to do it with another stitch, you can do that. I'm going to start here in the chain that's after the marker. I count 1 and 2, I start here in the second one, and I'm going to make 9 single crochets until I get here, to the stitch before where the marker is. I pass the hook under the whole chain, yarn over, leaving a little piece to hide it under the stitches. I make a chain. I'm going to complete the stitch by passing the hook again under that chain, right here in the same space. I have 2. I yarn over and pull through. Now I have my complete single crochet. I also take the opportunity to hide the short tail. I go under the next chain, yarn over, and here I make the next stitch, under the next one. I finish the row at the stitch before the marker. I make a turning chain and turn the work. I pass the hook under the second chain, count 1 and 2, and make a single crochet. Here, in the last stitch, I go under the entire chain. I make the stitch, chain 1. I turn the work. I insert the hook under the second chain. And I make a single crochet again. This way, we will keep working all the rows until we reach the desired height. I'm going to keep working, and I'll show you how many rows I'm going to make. I finished the single crochet rows. I made a total of 12. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is how the flap of our bag is turning out. If you want to make it a little longer, just keep adding more rows. It all depends on the length you want. Now, we're going to work around the edge to give it a better finish. We cut the yarn at the last stitch. We pull out this loop. And we're going to hide this remaining yarn under the stitches. We'll use a smaller needle to help us. We pass the yarn under this little ridge. Under here, under the next one. And we hide it on this side. We're going to do the last round. This one will be single crochet stitches to give the flap a better finish. We start here where the marker is, under that chain. we'll make a single crochet here in this space. The next one, and here we're going to work under these strands. Here, under the bump, under all the strands, under the bump, like this, until you reach this last stitch here. We remove the marker. We pass the needle under the chain stitch. We take the yarn, leaving a little piece to hide under the stitches. We make a stitch here. We pass the needle through. Here, in between these two stitches, in this space. We'll hide the yarn tail as we go. We yarn over and make a stitch here. We're going to make the next stitch under all the strands. Pulling it up. Under the back bump.
Realizamos aquí 11 puntos.
And in this last one, look, it's under the back bump. We are going to do a triple increase. This is to give the corner an oval shape. This means 3 stitches in that same spot. When we finish the increase here, we are going to work the stitches on this side, not in the chains, but right down here. Here, in these spaces between the stitches, and here. Until you reach the stitch on this side. Then we start the increase. We pass the hook under the back bump, yarn over. Let's try to keep the yarn well organized. So those stitches look really nice. Pull it up to the height of the loop on the hook and close the stitch. We insert the hook into that space again. Now we make the third stitch. We close it. Like this, the increase on this side is finished. Look how pretty it turned out. Now we're going to work single crochets, inserting the hook not into the chain, but down here. Look at the spaces. Here we make a stitch, giving it height at the level of the loop that's on the hook. We arrange the yarn strands here very well and insert the hook into the next one. Look, these are long single crochet stitches. We go right underneath here. We insert the hook under all the strands. We yarn over again, bring it up to the height of the loop that's on the hook. Adjust the stitch nicely, yarn over, and close. We arrange it. We insert the hook again. We yarn over. We close the stitch. Again. We finish the increase on this side. Let's work the next stitch, under the little ridge. Under the whole strand. Let's make the last 2 stitches. We insert the hook under the whole strand, in this space. We cut. Here, where the marker is, we're going to make the last stitch, and that's going to be a slip stitch. Remove the marker. Pass the hook through. Pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook. Pass the first one through the second. Pull the yarn through. And into that same space. Pass the yarn through again. Here's how the join turned out on this side. We're going to hide this leftover yarn under the stitches. I finished hiding the yarn. Here's how the bag's flap turned out. We finished with 34 stitches around. Look how it looks on this side. So pretty. And look at this perfect seam. It turned out beautiful. I'll give you the final measurements. The length. It ended up being 15 centimeters. For the width, 12 centimeters. We put the flap in place. This is how it's turning out. It's nice and straight and well centered. I worked on it up to the middle of the bag. Look how it looks. Let's put on the clasp. Here I have a needle and nylon thread, the thinnest part. It goes on the top, here on the flap. You are going to arrange it. Make sure it stays straight. If you want, you can count the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start by making a simple stitch underneath each strand. Like this. You will repeat this process as many times as necessary until the clasp is nice and tight. From there, you move on to sew this side, this one, and this one. When you finish, bring the thread over here, where this one is. Make several little knots, burn the tip, and finish it off. When you finish this clasp, you will place the next clasp on top. I put it here at the bottom. Here. You hold it, and here you start sewing, just like you did with the previous one. But this time, you'll pass the needle through the inside. I'm going to continue this process off camera because it's very difficult to work on it here. So I'll finish and then show you. I finished putting on the clasp. Let me show you how it turned out. Look, it's pretty firm. It's very easy to put on. They're just simple stitches in each space until the clasp is nice and tight. Let's put on the rings. We're going to place them here, under these 2 stitches. Let's put on the strap. It's very simple. And finally, let's add the tassel. If you're new and don't know how to make it, I'll leave a detailed step-by-step guide in the video description. Let's attach it here to the ring. If you want, you can also attach it directly to the bag. I'm going to show you how spacious it is inside. Look at all that space. We can put our phone in here. Another phone. And there's still space to put the keys. We close our purse. And look how beautiful it looks. It's quite spacious, affordable, and very easy to make. This is a design that never goes out of style because it's very practical, very functional, and honestly, we can take it everywhere. And the best part is that you can also make this design for a little girl by changing the color of the bag's body, putting a different color on the flap, and it looks spectacular as a girl's bag. I'll leave a reference image up here for you. It ended up being 20 centimeters tall. We've reached the end of the class. Thank you for staying with me until now. I hope you enjoyed the whole process and that you put it into practice. If that's the case, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. See you in the next class. God bless you. Bye.